Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and today I'm bringing you a review of Evoland 2 for the PC. Evoland 2 is an action RPG developed by Shiro Games that brings in a ton of various gameplay mechanics and references to other games, providing a fairly unique experience. I'll be stepping through different aspects of the game and letting you know whether it's a pass or a play. Evoland 2 takes place in a fantasy world with both humans and demons. The game starts off in the year 999, right before the new year, where humans celebrate the 50th anniversary of their victory of the Great War between humans and demons, where the demons were practically wiped right out. The main player wakes up in the house of the chief of a small village and his daughter, with absolutely no memory. After the convenient plot device has been established, and you head out to the forest in the north, you come across a couple of demons trying to activate an old relic. Once activated, a protective guardian appears for you and the chief's daughter to defeat. You and the chief's daughter touch this now activated relic, and get sent to a completely different time, a time just before the Great War. Going forward, you meet new party members that join you on your quest, and you all try to find a way back to your original point in time by finding 5 fragments of something called the Magi Key. The characters in your party aren't overly deep, but they do have enough depth to them to give them their own unique personalities. The game also allows you to customize the names of the characters, so you can be as serious or as ridiculous as you want with them. Firstly, you have Fina, who I named Abigail in my playthrough, because that was my cat's name, who is the chief's daughter you met early in the game. She's a little feisty with a big heart. She provides some special powers over nature that give her the power to whack weeds for you to get the new areas. Secondly, you have Menos, who I had named Douchey, not knowing that he would be a party member, who is a leader of the demon armies in the Great War. He provides a fairly useful area of effect attack and some pretty funny dialogue, as he's very literal, and he's also coming to terms with his race being practically wiped out. Lastly, your final party member is Velvet, who I had creatively named Derpa in my playthrough. She's a huge bookworm and wants to do nothing more than learn about the ancient Magi era. She provides a useful ice attack that can freeze enemies, which she had learned from an ancient textbook. The story isn't super deep, but it gets the job done. It provides a basis or why you are doing what you're doing, and is interesting enough to keep you engaged. The art in Evoland 2 is pretty interesting, because it changes based on what time period you're in. In present day, you're in a 16-bit 2D action RPG with some really nice pixel graphics. When you go to the past, you go back to an 8-bit game, like something you'd see on an old NES. And in the future, you move into the 3D realm, where the game has a really basic but nice painted style. The pixel graphics in the 2D time periods are definitely the standout parts in the art of Evoland 2. It looked great, and it's the type of art style that will still look good 10 years from now and doesn't have to worry about being dated. I really enjoyed the music in Evoland 2. It gives you everything from some nostalgic chiptunes to some much more modern music. Notable examples include sweet bass lines during the top-down shooter mode and some really cool music in your first encounter of the Haunted Forest. There's no voice acting in the game, which, to be honest, is perfectly fine. It wouldn't have fit with the retro 2D game modes, and it would have been really weird going from text only to voice acting in the 3D parts of the game. All of the other sound effects were pretty average. The music definitely stood out more than the sound effects did. When it comes to gameplay, Evoland 2 has a ton of variation. At its core, it's an action RPG, but at different parts of the game it throws different elements at you. You get gameplay from games like top-down shooters or bullet hells like Toho, Street Fighter, Double Dragon, Mega Man, Bomberman, Donkey Kong, Puzzle Quest, Chrono Trigger, R-Type, and to confirm your intelligence as a human being, you also have to play Pong, Snake, Space Invaders, and Pac-Man. Evoland 2 throws a lot at you, and when it isn't throwing new game modes at you, it's throwing random pop culture references at you as well. So while Evoland is an open world RPG, the story is very linear. It feels like the older Final Fantasy type games where the story doesn't change based on what you do, but you can take your time, complete a bunch of side quests, and then get back to the main story at hand. One thing that was sometimes a bit of a pain was that you couldn't view quests or objectives. Most quests and objectives came from dialogue with NPCs, so with nothing other than your memories of what people said, if you took a break from the game and came back, sometimes it could take a while to remember what it was that you were doing beforehand. There are also some pretty weird difficulty spikes with the different game modes that it throws at you. Evoland 2's a pretty easy game, but sometimes it would throw a game mode at you like Double Dragon or R-Type like gameplay that was exponentially harder than the rest of the game and were unexpectedly tough compared to what you were used to playing. So, after all of this, do I give Evoland 2 a pass or a play? Evoland 2 is definitely a play. It's a very well done action RPG full of moments that will leave you laughing or just enjoying the subtle and not so subtle references scattered throughout the world. The graphics changing with the different time periods was also a very clever idea that I enjoyed quite a bit. If you haven't already, make sure to check out Evoland 2. And if you want a closer look at the gameplay, check out my Let's Play playlist. Now that's all for now, everyone, so I'll see you guys next time.